welcome back to the greenhouse again. This is where I've been shooting all my videos lately.
Me too.
This is like the best space.
Yeah.
Jill with Whispering Willow Farm is here today. She came out to visit. We have been talking a lot about plant cells just between her and I here lately, and then on our Instagrams and YouTubes and whatnot, because our plant cell is coming up soon. And we're getting really excited. So we decided to kind of get together and do a two-part series and go even deeper into plant cell advice. And we're just gonna kind of talk plant cell today. So my video is part 1. We're gonna talk through a few things, and then you are gonna have a part 2, right?
Yes, and we're gonna be doing them together. So obviously I'm in her video, she'll be in my video. It's just kind of give you a chance to, I know Lauren's been doing a lot of plant cell content. I've been doing a seed starting series, so I really encourage you guys, go back through and reference that. We'll even try to like link, I know you just did a video on a plant cell, so we'll try to put those info cards where you can go back. These are the type of videos that we're encouraging you, get your notepad, your iPad, your phone or whatever, be jotting down these things to have as reference if you are thinking about participating in a plant cell or hosting your own, which will actually be something we talk about. But yeah, definitely make sure that you're taking notes. This can kind of be information overload.
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't want to overwhelm you, but we do want to inform you and help you guys make good decisions for your plant cells.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get started, so none of this is black and white. This is just like, info that we've gathered over the years, experience we've gathered over the years, and this is just us kind of talking through it and our best advice. But the number one thing I think people have been asking here lately, I've gotten emails, I've gotten messages on Instagram, but all the people wanting to know, what varieties should I start? And that is a really good question. And the advice I've been giving to people is, I really can't tell you, because some of that comes with experience. Some of that comes with just knowing your customer base. And if you'll do it for a few years, you'll kind of start to learn your customer base, and you'll know what you should be offering to them. But people still want to know the specifics. They want to know what sells best for me, what sells best for you. So we're going to talk about that today. And I will tell you, I typically offer vegetables, so like tomatoes, peppers, that sort of thing. And in the past, the number one selling tomato plant for me was the blueberry cherry tomato.
It's a good one.
Yep. And I think that the first year I ever bought that one, I got it from Baker Creek, and I don't know that they actually offer that one anymore. So this year I ordered mine from Wild Boar Farms.
So they actually created it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, that's where I ordered mine. I'm starting, gosh, maybe 4 times more this year, because that's how well it sold last year.
That's awesome.
Another one that sold really well for me, I'm really into like the heirlooms. Not necessarily the hybrids so much. I do grow a few hybrids, but heirlooms are kind of my jam. But the Dr. Witchy Watchy, whatever you call it, the big giant yellow juicy one, that one sells really well for me as well. So I will be starting that one again this year.
Yeah, so Lauren grew a ton of heirlooms. Typically, this year we're kind of transitioning for production, so we'll be doing mainly hybrids, which if you've been following our channel, you know that I've been kind of talking and preparing you guys for that quite a bit. I think it is important, like Lauren said though, knowing your customer base. You could grow this one thing that you love. Then if you take it to sell it and you haven't gauged your audience, they may have totally different things. So like last year, I love those funky varieties. Lauren loves those funky varieties. But we found we had a lot of old school, like they just wanted that beefsteak. They wanted, I hate to say boring, but y'all, it is. Like they're just boring varieties. And I forced myself to grow those because it is what my audience said that they wanted. And so what Lauren and I did is we took to our Instagrams, we took to our YouTubes, we asked the people, hey, what do you want to see? And there were some that wanted, variety, but most people didn't. And so that was a large bulk of what we did. I grew a lot of flowers, so I would encourage you guys kind of think outside of the box. When you think a plant cell, your immediate mind may go to vegetables, but think about herbs. Think about a variety of flowers. Think about a variety of herbs. Maybe even like a variety pack of vegetables might be good to have some like diversity there. You could even do, I don't even know if I should give this away. This is good advice. You could even do like companion planting packs.
Oh, that is good.
So where you could just take it out, or even like pollinator packs. So really kind of think would be the most beneficial to your audience, but also ask your audience. For us, of course, like I said, our beefsteaks actually sold really well. We had like a black creme, our black from Tula tomato that did really well. It was very similar to a Cherokee purple. And that's one thing I think I would mention too, is if you do decide to go out of the box, maybe still be able to compare it to something. So the black from Tula was very similar to the Cherokee purple, but it had a better, smokier taste. And so I told them, if they said, hey, do you have a Cherokee purple? I don't, but I have this, and I could tell them kind of how it was similar. And so if you are going to kind of go outside the box, I would still encourage you to pick a variety that would be something they would still be familiar with if you referenced it. And then like flowers, I guess that would be my biggest thing. It's just thinking about maybe outside of the vegetable box of things, because you would be surprised how many people are growing in, urban settings or even very small farm settings, and they don't have the space to grow vegetables, but they do have the space or the container to grow some herbs or flowers on a patio or in a small backyard, and that might, actually do really well too.
Yep, that's good. I will tell you the number one tomato plant that was my worst seller and I was shocked because everybody knows this one and I love it, was the brandy one.
Mine didn't germinate right at.
Really?
Dang.
Well, mine did because I had hundreds of them, and I sure enough went home with hundreds of them because nobody wanted them. So you better believe I'm not starting any brandy wines this year.
Yeah, they ended up in the compost.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did have the opportunity to donate quite a few of them to some elementary schools. So
oh, that's awesome.
Kind of cool, but yeah.
That is something too, just kind of a little free extra advice. People ask us, what do you do with your leftover plants? We donate a lot of them, and then if we overstarted, just to make sure if one broke or whatever, we will just compost it, and it's really not that big of a deal. You're just feeding your soil.
Unless you come home with hundreds of them, then you're like,
then it
dang.
can be a big deal.
I won't start those this year. Jill and I have also been kind of brainstorming how to be unique, how to set yourself apart in a plant sale. And that's really important if you're going to be a vendor in a plant sale. So if you're going to be coming together with like a lot of other farms, you want to have something that sets you apart, something that makes you kind of unique. And we've kind of been brainstorming different ideas on that. Do you want to start? You were talking earlier about your house plants. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, and even think about it, like if you were going to market, right? I'm one of those people that I'm a visual person. And so you can have a vendor that just has all their things displayed, but there's nothing really catching your attention. I'm going to walk by that. And it's not that they don't have good things. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I need something that's going to grab my attention. And so knowing that that is how I am as a consumer, going to a farmer's market or a plant sale, I try to replicate that as the actual vendor and the person offering that. So like last year, we have, banners and things like that, but we had actually brought like a rattan shelf and set it up with houseplants, and I had handwritten signs on where they could find us on our social accounts, and something that when they were walking, it grabbed their attention. I did also have a few house plants that I sold, but more so it was just kind of an invitation, like, hey, this is homey, this is friendly, I want you to come in, I want you to just feel like it's an extension of your home, create conversation, start conversation. And that's one thing that we did to kind of be set apart, is just created an inviting booth to where people wanted to walk in and see what we had to offer.
Yeah. You're there to sell plants, so that should be your number one thing is plants, obviously. But like last year, you had a few stickers.
We did.
I brought I brought some apparel, but it was really pre-orders for apparel. So maybe just a couple little extra things, not like overwhelming. I mean, you want your focus to be plants, but a couple little extra things, and then that just further advertises your farm. Your stickers for your farm, apparel for your farm. So I think that kind of sets you apart a little bit too.
Yeah, and I think that is key too, is you are there to sell something, right? You're selling your brand, you're selling your farm. And so I do, yes, they are coming for plants, but maybe someone who was coming for plants brought a friend who didn't have room to plant anything. And so they would be the ones that would gravitate towards a t-shirt or a sticker. And so we'll be taking our bootstrap farmer pots, this year. And so it all kind of goes together, but this really is your opportunity. And I say sell your farm, not in a salesy way, in a being engaged in the community way. Let them know that you have a YouTube channel, if you do have a YouTube channel.
Oh, that was another thing.
Yeah, if you have social media accounts, let them know where they can follow you to become invested in you, but also for like education and teaching purposes. And so I know, Lauren, you had a banner made with your QR code, which I thought was really, really smart. So they could go up to her banner, scan the QR code, and it would take them to like
my Instagram and my YouTube.
Very, very smart. Just another way of advertising. You do have those initial advertising costs, but she can use that banner year after year. I'm still using the same banner I've had for like 5 or 6 years. And so I would encourage you to kind of do that. That is what we're talking about when you are being set apart. And also, we live in a very new age. I would have never thought about like creating QR codes and like doing all these things, but you kind of have to think outside of the box and figure out what is something people always have.
Well, and
their phone, you know? You
were talking earlier about, what do you, pollinator packs and that sort of thing. That sets you apart too. That is appealing to me. If I see, you know, a chalkboard with the prices and whatnot, and I see all these different variety packs, that's gonna kind of draw me in. I'm gonna be interested in that. So I think that's another way. Yeah,
and when you think too, we're wanting to set ourselves apart from what they can go to a box store in a nursery and buy. You're not going to a Lowe's, a Home Depot, and finding, or a co-op even, and finding these, you know, 4 packs of basil, where they'd have to buy probably a 4-inch pot of each of those, and the cost is going to go up. Or we create a 6-pack that has 6 different varieties of basil. It gives them an opportunity to grow them and see which one they like. And yeah, I think just offering something, one that sets you apart from the big box stores as well, because you want people to want to buy from you. And that is going to, I don't want to say you're going to have to entice them, but you're going to have to make them want to come to you, because it isn't going to be convenient, right? Where they could go to the store anytime and buy plants. Like our plant sales one day out of the year, you know, they have to plan for that. And so I always just try to make it worthwhile, if you will, to where they feel like, oh, this was definitely worth waiting for this one day out of the year to come and buy all my starts from them.
And you want to keep them coming back year after year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So to wrap it up, we want to each give our best piece of advice when it comes to selling plant starts. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So mine is simple. It is nothing profound, but it is just do it.
Yeah.
I have been getting emails and messages asking me so many questions, and you continue to send me those messages and emails. I love them, but I can tell from the tone of the emails and the messages that you're on the fence, you're overthinking it a little bit. You do need to put some thought into it, but sometimes you just have to jump in and do it. And that's what I did my first year, and it's only gotten better year after year. You learn a little every year. The first year you do it, you're not gonna know everything. You're gonna have some hiccups, and that's fine. So just do it.
That is great advice. I feel like my advice is kind of similar, and this is something that I've not actually done. I would say last year was the first year that I really just like took my own advice, and I had fun.
Yeah.
There's been several years that it's like I'm relying on this to be like this big thing. Like usually we take the funds from the plant sale, and that's like funding a big project on our farm. And last year I actually just got to do it just for like the fun of it, for the community aspect. And even if you are doing this from needing to generate income from it, remember why you're doing it, and more than likely it is to, you know, build community, to give your community access to good organic local starts, for them to know your farm. And so I would encourage you, have fun with the process, even though it can be overwhelming trying to figure out how many starts, you know, transporting. There's so many different things when it comes to a plant sale, but just don't forget why you're doing it. Have fun while you're doing it, which is something in years past I've had to remind myself. There would be those times where I was just like, oh my gosh, what did I get into? And when you're just set back and you really think about why you did it, it becomes easy to want to continue to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, so that would be my advice. Have fun with it.
Okay. So just do it and have fun.
Yes. This is hopefully good advice.
Yeah. It is. It's perfect advice. Link Jill. You probably already follow Jill's channel, but if you don't, I for sure will link it down in the description below. So head over to Jill's channel and you can catch part 2. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, guys. Is this too bright for you? Would you rather it be darker?
I don't care. don't get all that fancy. I don't have all them options.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
What was I gonna say? Oh, we're gonna talk about. Oh shoot.
I mean, I can.
Monday. So.